this is the last page and a half of the book. There were many speeches, mostly by relatives on either side. Weddings and speeches went together, and the guests listened patiently, knowing that there would be more food later on. That food kept the guests busy for the best part of 2 hours. Then there was music, provided by the big-time Kalahari jazz band. This led to dancing, with Mama Kutsi and Futi Radafuti taking to the floor to general applause and whistles. The dance lessons they had both taken all that time ago came in useful, and Futi, who had not been a particularly good dancer to begin with, proved competent enough now, even with his artificial foot. After that first dance, Mama Kutsi danced with Mr. J.L.B. Matakoni, and Mara Motsui was invited to dance with the uncle with the broken nose. She put on a brave face over this, managing to control her winces as the uncle trod heavily on her toes and pushed her clumsily about the floor of the tent. It was a great relief to her when the band stopped and she was able to make her way back to her chair. Eventually it was time to leave, and Mara Motsui and Mr. J.L.B. Matakoni drove home in the white van, with Mara Motsui at the wheel. It was early evening now, and Mr. J.L.B. Matakoni, who was feeling tired, went off to have his somewhat delayed Saturday afternoon nap. After the feast, there would be no question of dinner, so she had no cooking to do. The children had gone to a friend's house for the night. Mara Motsui was alone. She went out into the garden. The sun had set, but there was still a faint glow in the west, above the Kalahari, enough to provide that half-light that makes everything seem so rounded, so perfect. She stood in her garden and looked about her. Against the gradually darkening sky, the branches of the trees traced a pattern of twigs and leaves, a pattern of such intricacy and delicacy that those standing below might look up and wonder why the world can be so beautiful and yet break the heart. What can I say to that?
Did you always have this? I mean, the voice that you have is, it's soothing, it's lovely, it has sort of a moral weight to it. Was this a voice that was always with you, or is it something that you have developed over time?
Well, thank you for your generous words about it. I think it's probably the voice that has always been there when I've been writing. I think that if you look at the first book that I had published, which was 30 years ago or so, it was a book called The White Hippo, which was a book for children, which was set in Africa. Mm-hmm. And I think that if I look at that now, as I occasionally do, I think I would see the same voice there.